Model calls have been used in the boudoir industry for years to grow a photographer's business and make money at the same time talking to other photographers. The general consensus is that it makes us feel shady, but the good news is there are other ways to build your portfolio. Hey boudoir photographers, are you ready to be totally booked out with high-paying clients? I'm Tracy Lynn, and I went from side hustle photographer to running $1 million boudoir photography business, working just 30 hours a month. That's right, just 30 hours a month. On this podcast, I tell you how I did it and how you can too. Hey there and welcome back. I'm doing Instagram Lives 3 times a week. One of the most asked questions lately is how to build a portfolio to attract your type of clients without doing a model call or photographing models. If you ever want to see my Instagram Live schedule, just go to my profile. I schedule them out usually Sunday nights for the following week. Typically, they're Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday around lunchtime, but that's always subject to change depending on my client load for the week and our travel schedule. This week's was crazy. That's why I'm about 2 days late on releasing this episode because we have been traveling to Kentucky and I was tired and did not have time to record it on Wednesday. I'm so sorry about that, but at least I am releasing it on Friday. Sometimes these Instagram Lives last 10 minutes, sometimes they're 45 minutes, but they're super fun, lots and lots of free information. My Instagram is @It'sTracyLynn if you want to come hang out, or I'll link it in the show notes as well. Anyway, today I want to go into a bit more detail about building your portfolio without using a model call. Many of you probably already know what a model call is, especially if you've been in the boudoir space for very long, but a model call is basically, let's be honest, a tactic to get clients in front of your camera, and they disguise it as a modeling opportunity. It's super attractive to many women because they think they get free sessions and free photos. All they're going to have to do is sign a release form. But then they get to the studio and they find out they won't even get their images without paying for them. Now, if you market it right, that's great. These models will know that they don't get everything for free. You won't feel shady. But to me, they've always felt shady. It's just felt like a shady tactic. And when I did one in 2016, right after I leased my first studio, I definitely did not market it right. And after I brought that client in, I photographed her session, sat her down for the reveal. She was like, I have to pay for photos. I explained to her that the session and the hair and makeup were free, but the actual images were not. She was so unhappy that I ended up giving her some photos and left it at that. I take total responsibility for that. It was my fault. My model call went as badly as it did. And I definitely think that you can do it in a way that doesn't feel shady. But I think the experience alone was completely a turnoff for me and model calls for good. I do want to mention one other thing that I don't love about model calls, and that's the fact that it kind of makes you look like a newbie photographer. That's not what you want at all. You need to be the authority in your niche, the go-to every woman wants to be photographed by. Doing model calls all the time is not going to achieve your goal of that authority. By the time I moved into my first studio, I'd probably done 10 to 15 boudoir sessions. Those sessions did not want me to share their photos, so I wasn't booking, but I had a studio lease to pay. And I realized the reason that I wasn't booking was because I didn't have the current images to post, specifically boudoir photos from my studio. And that's what I want to talk about today. There are 3 main reasons you need a portfolio to book out your schedule. First of all, you need to have photos that your clients can visualize themselves in, photos that they want. For example, my style is more client focused rather than setting focused. I shoot a lot more Calvin Klein style and my clients want that. And at the same time, the women in the photos in my portfolio, they need to be chosen with a purpose. Let me talk about that just a little bit more. You want to choose women in your portfolio that are for sure beautiful, but also your ideal client needs to feel like they can look like her as well. And honestly, all women are beautiful. We all know that, but we just need to be real specific about who you are posting and that they look like your ideal client. If your entire portfolio looks like models from Victoria's Secret catalog, your clients won't be able to picture themselves in your images and you're going to be less likely to book. So let's break it down. Your portfolio needs to be attention grabbing while also feeling like your ideal clients can look like her. You also need a portfolio for marketing purposes. I mean, that's kind of what we just talked about, but at the same time, it's a little bit different. You need a portfolio full of women of different shapes, sizes, hair colors, and even skin colors. Any woman who lands on your portfolio needs to be able to see immediately that you can photograph any woman in the most beautiful and flattering way. If you only have women who are one size or they're all blonde, you're definitely going to get questions from potential clients asking to see more of your portfolio before they book, or they're just not going to book at all. And lastly, you need a portfolio so you can practice shooting enough that you're competent or more than competent. And let's be honest, so you go into every session with confidence as well. In 2017, I used to get so nervous before sessions. I wanted to make sure every session was perfect for every single client. So I practiced like crazy. So much so that I literally photographed 40 models that year. It was worth it. I built a portfolio that had my ideal client drooling. And I started staying booked even further in advance. I was going into every single session with so much confidence that I felt like I could shoot a session that made high sales every single time in my sleep. And that's exactly why today I want to talk to you about the 3 ways to build a portfolio that's not just a model call. Now, before we get into that, you need some information on model calls first. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about is how you can build a model call without experience. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, but the best way to build your portfolio is by just finding models to photograph that are different body sizes, hair colors, and skin colors. Now, here's where I already know that you're going to have a holdup. You're not going to want to be shooting for free. As photographers, it's kind of forced on us that we should not be working for free, and I totally get that. But the thing is, you have to have a portfolio to actually attract clients, to get them to book so that you don't have to work for free, so that you can charge the prices you need to charge, so that you can go into sessions with confidence and professionalism every single time and deliver an experience your client wants to pay big money for. To do that, you need to photograph plenty of models, unfortunately. During the last Instagram live that I had, one of the photographers asked if I paid models, and I don't. I know it's getting harder and harder to find women with modeling experience willing to shoot for trade, but that's what I did in 2017. And it's what I still do if I need content for my Instagram or portfolio. Now, just be upfront in what you're willing to give. I love photographing models with experience because you can learn so much from them. From new poses to how they move to how the light falls on their body. And I credit a lot of the way that I photograph now to 3 specific models I photographed in 2017, V, Maddie, and Jillian. They were experienced with modeling, but they also let me play with poses too. And I know for a fact that photographing them while I was still perfecting my skills, that's a major reason that I was able to create the images and the experience that I now provide for my clients. We're going to talk about how you can find these kind of models without a model call in just a few minutes. But right now, I want to talk about a few reasons you might have to actually do a model call. Let's talk about why you might want to do a model call instead of just finding your own clients for your portfolio. And the first reason, it gives you something to post. Now, one thing I've noticed with model calls is that you get very inexperienced models. So if you're wanting to shoot to learn, I definitely recommend avoiding a model call. You'll learn far more with experienced models. But if you're ready to just fill your portfolio, then I definitely recommend a model call because you're also going to get a money surge as well if you run your model call in the right way. I want you to make sure that you're upfront with your models, though. Let them know what they actually get with a model call and how they can get more photos if they want. The best part about a model call is the practice you're going to get while you also make money. The clients do understand that this is a model call, so while they expect to get photos, they also might have lower expectations on how many they love. So that definitely means less pressure for you if it doesn't go as well as you want it to, and you get lots of practice for paying clients. So a recap of the few reasons that you might actually have to do a model call. The first one is gives you something to post. The second one, it's a money surge. And the third, less pressure, so you get lots of practice for your paying clients later on. Hey, I write a newsletter every week where I cover photography, business, marketing, strategy, and industry happenings, client wins and celebrations, and so much more. It's just for you, and you can get on the list right now at rebrand.ly/TLC newsletter. I'll link it in the show notes as well. And now let's dive into why you're really here, the 3 ways to build a portfolio without doing a model call. So how can you actually find these models without doing a model call? Before we jump further into strategies, I'm going to say you're still going to work with models to build a portfolio, but you're not going to use the model call strategy that to me feels very shady. And to most of my photographers that I work with as well. The first way to build a portfolio that's not a model call is to handpick models. This gives you so much creative freedom to find models you want to work with. Find exactly who you know will give you the images that you want in your portfolio to attract more clients that you want to work with. I like to start my search on Instagram, and honestly, this is where I found my favorite clients as well. If you check out my YouTube channel, I actually talk quite a bit about how to find models on Instagram, and I also show you how I find them. And I'll link those specific videos in the show notes. Another option is past clients who have given you permission to share their images. If they fit what you want for your portfolio, just make sure you're very picky about what you want them to wear. The second way is to find other business owners to photograph. This is such a great way to start a relationship as well. You're offering something major in this new business relationship. And if you give them an amazing experience, they're going to be happy to send you new clients. I promise. I've used this strategy so many times. You're probably wondering what kind of business owner, and I love working with personal trainers. There's really good options out there, but there may be other business owners out there like possibly a tanning salon or hair and makeup artist or even Botox, med spa nurses, and they might want to trade. Now, these business owners may not have as much experience as a model, but they will be great practice for you for sure. And on top of that, they'll experience what you offer and send you more clients. And the third way to build a portfolio that's not a model call is to work with influencers. Don't underestimate the power of an influencer. Just think about it. How many times have you bought something off of Instagram or TikTok simply because someone you follow told you to buy it? I talked about her earlier, but Maddie was one of the models I worked with often in 2018 before she moved to LA. She was a fashion blogger in St. Louis at the time, and she had 15,000 followers, and they were all local women in St. Louis. And the women who followed her did everything she said. In 2018, we had a Botox party in my studio, and she was able to get so many women who just wanted to meet her to actually come to my studio. And that was just crazy to me because she was just my friend, but they were like taking pictures of her and wanted to meet her and talk to her. And they literally came to my Botox party because of those things. And I honestly still get so many clients who come from following her all those years ago. Just a month or so ago, one of my clients, she'd been following me since 17 because I photographed Maddie and she was just waiting for the right time to book her session with me. So influencers work and they work for the long term. Plus, it's just a great use of your time. And they have experience, even better. Now, if you only get one thing from this episode, I want you to understand that there is a time and a place for model calls specifically and for photographing models, business owners, and influencers. You just need to know what your goal is for the session. Is it for a money surge? Then a model call is probably the best option. Or, of course, a different strategy that I've given you in these episodes. Or is it to build your portfolio? If so, I'd go with a model session with an experienced model. Is it to practice posing and guiding the client? Then a model call. Is it to build relationships? Then a model session with an influencer or business owner. Can you see how the goal of this session is very specific and should be taken into account when you're planning these model sessions? Go into every model session with a goal and plan accordingly. Are you ready to create an amazing experience for your clients? If so, then you definitely need to join the Secrets of the Boudoir Industry training. You're going to learn what it's like to work as a boudoir photographer, the good, the bad, and the totally untrue. That's right. I'll be digging into a few of the most common pieces of advice for the industry, and you'll find out if they are fact or fiction and why it matters for your business. And make sure you stay until the end. I'll also be showing you how to put a plan together that helps you not only drive business, but also keeps you working how you want, when you want, and with who you want, aka your dream clients. It is January 24th at 1 p.m. Central, and you are definitely not going to want to miss it. Be sure to sign up at the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainable Freedom with Boudoir Photography. Please be sure to rate and follow so that you never miss an episode. They drop every Thursday, and they're always full of super actionable information for you to apply right now in your boudoir business. Until then, make your next shoot your best shoot.